connected.
Hey, Kime, how are you?
Hey, Dennis, I'm doing well. I hope you're having a good day.
Yeah, I just chased my horses for 5 miles. They got out, and
Oh,
every time
Lord.
I came with them, they started galloping away, and
Oh, Lord.
I
I,
literally just got back in the house. I've been out there since 11 o'clock chasing those two.
oh, wow. Yeah, my brother went through that. He had a 55 Chevrolet pickup truck.
Oh my God.
And for whatever reason, he sold the truck, or actually, I take that back. He horse traded his truck for two trailers. I mean,
Oh,
his truck for two horses.
wow.
And he rode them and rode them and rode them. He loved them. And I said, yeah, but that truck didn't eat nothing. I said, those are going to be a lot of work, a lot. And he's like, no, no, no. But then the horses, they always got out and went across the street and were playing in his neighbor's pool. And it was a liner, and he had to replace the liner three times before he finally sold the horses. I was
Oh
like,
my
got in
God.
there. Yeah, that was too much.
That
He was,
is hysterical. Wow.
but anyway,
This
that
is
is
the
cool.
first time these guys have ever gotten out in the 5 years we've had them.
Wow.
I don't know what got into them. We live on Route 11, which is a busy road.
Hmm.
So apparently the police blocked off both sides. I was on a conference call. I didn't even know all this was going on. And
Okay.
my neighbor, people around here, they just drive in your driveway and they honk the horn. So you don't know if it's the mailman or right. You
What?
expect, and so I'm looking at this person. I didn't even know who it is. I get out there and it's my neighbor. And she goes, "Your horses are out and they've got Route 11 blocked and they're
Oh,
galloping off into the behind the funeral home and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh my God." And I'm here by myself. My wife is the horse person. I'm just Juan, the stable boy. All I do is shovel stuff and feed them. That's it. I had no idea how to do halter. I mean, that was
right. I
a
got you.
lot. Hey,
I,
Sana, how are you?
uh,
Yeah,
Hi, how are you?
good. I literally just got back from chasing my horses since you and I were on earlier. The entire
What
time I've been running
happened? How many do you have?
two, brother and
What?
sister. First time they've ever gotten out in the history of us having them. And they decided to go really far. I mean, they crossed Route 11. They went through this funeral home parking lot, down this road. I mean, it was unbelievable how far they were. And then every time I came up to them, they would run in the opposite direction.
How did you get them back?
Well, these two guys, there's a lot of the farmers here have, Mexican helpers who are just wonderful. And this guy was so smart. He got him into some corral that was just in some random field. He opened the thing and they both went in there and we got ropes around him and I walked him home. So I literally just sat down. That's why I'm so red in the face. I just had visions of, dead horses on the highway and my wife coming home and
Oh,
I'd probably become homeless. She would probably disown me if all this happened. I still don't know how they got out. It just doesn't make
well, you got them back. That's all that matters.
and this may be one of those stories that the time it to comes to tell it may not be now.
Yeah, don't tell her today.
Yeah, I won't tell her today. It'll be less intense if it's, oh, I forgot to tell you, horses got out, but we got them. You know.
But anyway, let's talk about something else, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, how was work today? Yeah. So, hey, Judy Steelman, how are you? Sylvia Munson. All right. Hello.
There we go.
Sorry.
Good.
I'm well. How are you all?
We're good. Hey, Judy.
Your adventure sounded like you've had some exciting, so
Yeah.
a little excitement today anyway.
Normally, it's all you get around here is grass growing. It isn't really exciting. And so this was definitely, I mean, I had the Duplin County Animal Control Officer was trying to tell me it was all going to be, I think he was going to arrest me. I didn't know what the deal was. So he's following me around with his gun and telling me that this is not that bad, that you should see it when it's a pouring rain night and the horse is out and you can hear them running in circles, but you can't see them. And you got to try to catch them in the dark. I say, oh, okay. I'll be thankful for small favors. At least I can see these two. But man, if I was a big enough man, I would have knocked that girl. The girl is the leader, the sister, and she was just evil today. Oh my God. The other one wanted to cooperate, the brother, but the sister was just evil. And I would have decked her if I was anywhere near her size, but I don't think she would even feel it if I looked at her. Oh, I was so mad at her. But got to keep your cool, because if they see you get upset, they get scared.
Of course, yeah.
They're actually big scaredy cats. The horses are really scared all the time. So anyway. All right. Sorry about yesterday. I hope that didn't inconvenience everybody. I had to, like I told you before, I don't really have anyone to back me up. So if I have to do something, unfortunately, the only alternative is to postpone. So hopefully that didn't throw anybody off too bad. We're gonna finish up on category design today. If you have any questions, you've been doing the worksheets or looking at that, happy to talk. But we've got just a few more videos to go through, and then we'll be done with at least with the introduction to category design. So let me share my screen here. Okay.
May I ask right quick, Dennis?
Yeah.
If I need to speak to you, I'm sure your number is probably in all of this. Can I just call you this afternoon or?
Yeah, but generally, my number, if you want to write it down, is 252-550-0833, and I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Manage your suit size.
How big is your market? So in the book, there's a concept called your suit size. You wear your suit today, your software does something for advertising, and it does it for consumer marketing. But what if your application someday could also do it for business-to-business marketing, B2B? That's the suit size. You put the suit on today that fits, but what if you made it a little bigger and grew into it? That's what the concept of suit size is all about. So don't restrict your vision. If your universe is this big, but it could be that big, create a bigger category. A $0 billion market, VC.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Sorry. I have no idea why it did that, but it did. Sorry, I'm dancing around here. Okay. Suit size. Try this again.
How big is your market? So in the book, there's a concept called your suit size. You wear your suit today, your software does something for advertising, and it does it for consumer marketing. But what if your application someday could also do it for business-to-business marketing, B2B? That's the suit size. You put the suit on today that fits, but what if you made it a little bigger and grew into it? That's what the concept of suit size is all about. So don't restrict your vision. If your universe is this big, but it could be that big, create a bigger category. A $0 billion market, VCs love that. A $0 billion market means nobody else has figured this out yet. That's the kind of market you want to go after.
I don't know. I'd be happy with $100 million market myself.
So you've come up with a category. What do we do next? You want to mobilize your whole company, your ecosystem if you have partners, and you want to go out and do what we call a lightning strike. And some people misunderstand how the book conveys lightning strikes, because they talk about really elegant, marketing campaigns, big events. Lightning strike can be simple. It can be 5 very significant people that you want to get in a room together, and you tell them about your story, your point of view, and you drop a press release on PR Newswire. You bought dinner and you spent $700, right? You can go the other way around and you can hijack a show. You can get the biggest booth, advertising Wall Street Journal, you'll spend 500,000. You can get just as effective, because if you do that show and you end up with 5 clients, you could have had a really nice dinner and ended up with the same 5 clients. But a lightning strike is the concept of setting the category agenda and starting the conversation.
Yeah, I want to just pause here for a second because he's introduced something that I actually have done a lot in my business career, and I never hear anyone talk about it. Did you hear him say that a lightning strike could be you getting together 5 people and telling them about what you're doing? That could be 5 people in your industry. It could be 5 people in your town or your county or some other group that you have access to. It could be a service club, a chamber of commerce. I think we tend to think of big things that we want to do, big marketing campaigns or, email and all this kind of stuff. But grassroots kind of small group, I have had really good luck over the years. And what I used to do is I would call up groups like chambers of commerce and offer to speak at one of their lunches or one of their meetings. They're always looking for somebody to talk and try to see what they're working on. Maybe you can say, hey, I'll talk about, getting new customers or customer service or some topic that would be of interest. But there are so many groups like that. There's a human resources group. I think it's called SHRAM or something like that. Society of Human Resource Professionals. They are very active and they're everywhere. I know they got a huge chapter in Raleigh. I'm sure just about every town, any significant sized town will have. So that kind of group is really good for creating people who will go out and spread the word about what you're doing. And you'd be amazed at how effective that can be.
Get people to use your taxonomy and your language. Get them to tell your story. And once you do that, the word of mouth is going to grow. Lightning strike and mobilization is setting a flag on the hill. It gives everybody in your company a destination, a goal, something to march to. It's a process of changing the way people think. When you think, the example we used earlier, if you're thinking advertising and you need to be thinking something different, what is that different? Think about what that different might be. So here's some examples. If you want to change your audience, your employees, get them to change from their old way of thinking to a new way of thinking. So you might look at something. Can we increase revenue? Can we be more relevant? But the key is to shift people away from their existing thought process. If they keep thinking, and I'll go back to the VMware example, if they keep thinking, oh, I'll just buy another computer, I'll put it in my IT center, get them to think, no, I have idle computing power, I'm going to do a virtual machine. So you get people to shift. We call them in the book Frodos, from to, and get that shift happening with everything you communicate.
I'm having some trouble here. Let's see if I can get this straight. Okay.
I'm going to talk about process and timing of a project. Now, this is somewhat based on what we do when we're working with a client, but you can take the same formula and run it through your company. Essentially, we start with, and the way we do this project, this takes about 3 months. But start with a discovery process. Come up with general questions that you might have from the book. Use Dave's 3 questions. Give it to your trusted advisors. You could have one of your board members, an investor, your executive team, co-founder, a key player that always contributes good ideas. Have them answer Dave's 3 questions on their own, and then compile the results and have everybody share the results and see where they lead you. Next thing you want to do, focus really heavy on the problem. think it through. Think about what people really think their problem is, and don't think about solution until you have nailed the problem. Marketecture. Things like a category blueprint, an ecosystem, or your persona study. Think about your vision. What's your roadmap? Then go in and think about the name. At this point, you've done a lot of work, a lot of homework. You should start to get a feel for what your category is going to be and where it's going to go. And once you've done that, then you develop your story. Everyone here has probably put together an investor pitch deck. The pitch deck can flow from the POV. Everybody's heard about storytelling. Storytelling's old school, POV is new school. Mobilization, putting together the lightning strike. Get your whole company, your whole market, get the analysts that cover your area, get everybody heading towards the agenda and the story you want them to tell. If you focus on this framework, you'll end up working it through the same way we do, the same way the book illustrates. And if you're stuck somewhere, if you're on company POV, and you say to yourself, ah, God, go to the book. The book actually has an index. Everyone forgets that. So look up what you're stuck on and go back and read about it. Go to our website, go to Play Bigger's website. There's a bunch of information out there. Sample POVs are out there.
Okay, let's see here.
So marketecture stuff, we're going to talk about each of the examples. First one is a category blueprint. And the blueprint sets the agenda and the requirements for your category and establishes what the problem is by illustrating it graphically. People learn through listening, by doing, or by seeing. And that's where the blueprint comes in handy. This is a category blueprint. Company's called Replicon, and we're going to show some examples of their work. But they're a time clock company. In factories and businesses where you go in, you say, I start work, I'm clocked in at 8 in the morning. Boring industry, right? What they realized is time is a very valuable asset for businesses. People are a valuable asset. And they were collecting all this information about time. And what they did is they applied machine learning to their time information that they gather, and they create what they call time intelligence. So that category is time intelligence. It interfaces with all the different aspects of time tracking. It applies different technology to it to come up with insights, and basically you end up with a bunch of business recommendations. So a blueprint's just a nice graphical way to represent your category. It also becomes, in most cases, a nice marketing asset, something to put in your investor deck. Build out an ecosystem. The ecosystem is it's again graphical, and it also is a process, but the ecosystem documents sort of the flow of your business. Here's an example. This was in the book. Essentially, if you look here, they talk about there are different areas they interface with, the agencies in the marketing industry, customer development. So it's illustrating every connection of your ecosystem and the things you interface with as you conduct your business. Understand your persona. Has anyone ever done a persona map before? I think it's funny, they always name everything, you know, like Marketing Maggie, you know. I just always chuckle about that. Who are you talking to? And you're going to change, when you create your point of view, you're going to then create a messaging Bible from that. And knowing who you're talking to is highly important because you're going to tell the story differently if you're talking to an investor or if you're talking to a customer or if you're talking to the customer's CEO. HubSpot has some incredible examples on their website. Just Google HubSpot and the word persona, and you're going to find templates and slide decks and videos. They talk all about it. But essentially, here I should have used the example Marketing Mary. But you're basically mapping out everybody's concerns, what problems they have that are unique to them. And it allows you to think differently about your category to make sure you're addressing all your different concerns and people. Know your vision and roadmap. Really important. If you're building a category today, you need to think about the promises you're going to communicate for the future. Facebook put their roadmap out. And what's funny is they didn't end up saying we dominate the world, but I think that's kind of the direction they're going. But essentially, they talk about where they're going every couple of years. And when you think about your roadmap, it allows you to translate that into your story. If you tell the story about you can buy this widget today, that's no big deal, right? A clicker. But if Logitech told this story about this widget a couple of years ago and said, what if you could move your widget around and it moved your mouse on the screen? That's what this clicker does, which is pretty cool. What's your point of view? So basically, a point of view is a story. It's an emotional story. You want to appeal to people's instincts and their gut. The POV communicates what your whole category strategy is about. When you write your point of view, write it like you're telling a story in a bar. People call it your elevator pitch. I haven't told my story in an elevator ever, but I've told my story in a bar 1,000,000 times. Tell your story kind of like you've had 2 martinis, right? A little buzz opens up the creativity. Ernest Hemingway said, write drunk and edit sober. When you're putting your POV together, don't talk about why you're better. That just compares you to competition. Always be different. You want to establish the emotion of the problem, talk about the ramifications of not solving the problem, introduce your category and your solution, and then articulate why you're different and can solve it in no other way that anyone else can solve. Here's a point of view example. This is Replicon, the company we were just talking about, Time Intelligence. So when you're creating a point of view, it's kind of like when you were taught how to write a story back in school. Create a flow, right? A storyline. What we do is we start with the problem. Time tracking was old, clunky systems, blah, blah, blah. What are the ramifications of not doing anything with time tracking? Time goes missing. You don't know if people are cheating you on their overtime, etc. What's the vision for the future? AI can make this a more valuable thing to the company. Time can become valuable. Time can be an asset. And then what are the outcomes, the value of using the solution? If you map this out in a very simple way, think of it as a story, 100 words, 200 words, 100 words, 200 words. You end up with a nice short 2-minute story. This is the Replicon point of view. So a point of view, it's a written story, and when you're done, it should feel like that 3-minute video explainer that people put on their website. So I'm going to just read it and walk it through for you, but I want to see if you think of yourself as a business owner that actually has people that you track time with. Point of view is a story, and it's emotional, and it introduces the category and lets people know why they should join it. So here's Replicon's point of view. Everyone knows that time is money, but unlike money, most businesses don't know enough about their time. What did we do to turn time into money today? How much did time cost us today? Such questions are surprisingly hard to answer. Time is universal in any business. 60% of a company's cost is time. Yet there's no easy way to capture time spent and connect it to a company's work, accomplishments, events, and results. Multiple systems track time today: CRM, ERP, HR, PSA, project management. But they all do it in a different, non-connected, non-shareable way. Time goes missing because it's hard for employees to track accurately and in real time. Most time tracking features were built for the last century, tedious and sluggish, while the world changes in seconds. This makes it difficult for a company to treat time as a valuable asset. But that's exactly what it is. Time is an asset, and businesses need to understand how to best use that asset today and in the future. A 1,000-person company has around 2 million hours at its disposal in any year. Do we know what our millions of hours got us? How can we connect all of our time to all of our outcomes, analyze time, understand it, and make predictions about it? It requires a new way to think about and manage time. It requires time intelligence. Time intelligence is important to business in a way that emotional intelligence is important to people. True time intelligence is much more than the sum of static data and reports. It means businesses can connect time spent to outcomes produced and understand and deploy time as an asset. Time intelligence allows businesses to treat time the way they treat money, resources, and materials. And this new knowledge can flow back to individual employees so they can understand their own time and how they are contributing. And manage time so they are more successful, which in turn makes the company more successful. Any company that operates without understanding time as an asset is wasting time. Optimizing time, treating time as an asset, it's a competitive advantage. Getting you there is a problem Replicon solves. We've developed technology for time intelligence. Replicon built it for our IoT, mobile, cloud, and social and AI era. It's time management for the 21st century. We call it the Time Intelligence Platform, and it liberates time from your systems and turns it into an intelligent and valuable asset. Replicon's architecture harvests time and events everywhere, in any way, and on any device. We link time to every system you rely on, legacy software, new apps, or any technology you might buy in the future. Replicon adds the intelligence layer to validate, process, analyze, and transform time into powerful information. With Replicon, you'll know how you turn time into money, and how much time costs you, and how to better use time in the days, months, or years ahead. Time as an asset is what Replicon is all about. Time intelligence is our business. Replicon, the time intelligence company. So, I just ask you all, never heard of Replicon before, do you think you understand their story? As a business owner, you understood the pain, the problem, you understood the ramifications and the solution and the category. All right? My Canadian partner snuck analyze in with an S. Did you notice that?
Okay, well, my goal with sharing all of that is to give you a sense of how this all comes together. I see in the chat someone's talking about SHRM. Yeah, that's a group for human resources. So anyway, hopefully this whole process has been helpful, starting with your brand positioning, what problem you're trying to solve, and then really importantly, figuring out the category that you're competing in. If not your own category that you invent, then what existing category are you participating in and competing in? And I think you'll find that it'll help you explain to people what you're doing and where you're going. You know, one of the things that it's really hard to do when you're a business owner and you have so much stuff coming at you all the time. You know, your particular circumstance is literally changing by the hour or faster. And when you have to communicate to somebody, hey, what do? You got to decide, do I tell them what happened in the last hour, or do I refer to something, from last week, which is no longer relevant? So if you have a really good category design and brand positioning, you can answer that really quickly and very consistently. And if you have employees, they likewise can answer those questions. Any feedback or thoughts from everybody? Okay.
I found it interesting that he said storytelling is old school, point of view is new school. So it's more concise.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that. It really depends on your personality and also what is your product or service.
Mhm.
Sometimes stories just do a good job, do a better job than, something more precise. I think, these guys operate with really big companies and, heavily funded. So you got to remember that and apply. Some of this stuff may not apply to you, but I personally like storytelling. I'm half Irish and all my uncles used to tell stories, and that's how I was brought up. So I can't help myself, but
A lot of our families operate that way in this region, I think. So
yeah. And that's what
storytelling.
makes it so cool. And anything else? Any other comments? Okay, so tomorrow, for those of you who would like to participate, there's going to be a Pop Shop Live training session, I guess, from Alex, and I'll post the information in the Facebook, so you can if you want to come to that. I think it's at I can't remember now, 12 noon or 1 o'clock, something like that tomorrow. Let me just look real quick. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So that'll be a good time if you have questions for Pop Shop Live or anything related to that. That's going to be a good place to ask those questions, and anything you want to know about that. That'll be going on. So any other thoughts or questions at this point before I go knock my horse on the teeth?
Hey, this is Yolanda. Hey, how are you?
Hey.
I have a question. So you mentioned a worksheet earlier during the call,
Yeah.
and I was wondering where could I actually get that information?
Yeah. So if you go to acceleraterural.org, I'll show you on the screen. Acceleraterural.org is our website. And on that website, we have, let's see, I'll share my screen and just save the trouble for everybody. Oh, okay. So can you see that okay? Acceleraterural.org.
Yes.
Okay, and then you see here member resources.
Yes.
And then you go down here, and this thing that we're doing these videos are Techstars. And so we started off here with number 3, understand category design, and then today we finished up number 4. So if you click on that and you go through, you'll see all the videos that we just saw. And at the very bottom, you'll see go to the worksheet. And then here's all kinds of worksheets, and you can just print those out. Here it's a form, but we're not in Techstars, so we don't get to use that. So you'll just have to print this page out to do this stuff. But everything he showed is here. And in general, with all the Techstars, underneath the videos, there will be worksheets for almost every topic. And in case you wondered, you probably know this, but you can just right click and print it out. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Dennis, this is Eva. How are you?
Great, Eva. How are you?
Good. Follow-up question here. How long will we have after this accelerator is finished access to the website to download those forms? I am inundated and can't. Okay, just wanted to make sure that we would have access. If we're not able to download them now, that we can follow up and download those forms and continue to work on these topics.
Yeah, we're not particularly well organized, but the YouTube channel is available, so you can go back and look at other sessions even before your cohort. You might go through there and see a guest speaker, for example, like the CEO of Burt's Bees. You might want to hear what he has to say, or the CEO of Etsy. We've had a lot of different speakers. So you can go back on the YouTube channel and find those and watch those videos if you want. All of our classes, almost every class is recorded there and you can see it. And then of course, this Techstars toolkit is available unless Techstars takes it down, which I have no control over that, but
Sure. Okay, that's excellent. Thank you so much.
yeah. Anyone else got anything? Okay, so tomorrow, for those that are interested, the Shop Rural Day, little party, whatever you want to call it, from Pop Shop Live, that'll answer everything you wanted to ask, but were afraid to ask. Will be covered by Alex, hopefully. And if any of you have anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. All right, we'll see y'all later.